I won't lie, bro.
I'd be done for the day. I wouldn't even trade today. So,
Bro, you know, like weekly goals, I'm sure.
oh, dude, once I cash this out, I'm gonna take care of about a week's worth of profits. So
Nice.
just to put into perspective. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Tuesday, January 12th, and we've got a lot of activity going on. I think today the theme is clean energy and electric vehicles. Literally, my A-list today is going to be that theme. And let's just jump right straight into it because we are running 2 minutes behind because we were looking at another stock before we started the recording. NIO. NIO is selling off this morning from profit-taking pressure. Some analysts were coming on CNBC and saying that there is a bubble in the market with EVs. They use Tesla and NIO as an example. NIO's current valuation is greater than Ford and General Motors. Let me say that again. NIO is more valuable than Ford and General Motors. So, with that being said, a lot of analysts are saying you guys need to take profit. And that's why NIO is selling off. NIO did do a offering yesterday, and what an offering is they are taking advantage of the elevated stock price to raise capital for their business operation. So you've got those two circumstances putting pressure on NIO today. So NIO is going to be in play. This could be a buying opportunity in case the frenzy comes back in, or it could sell off a little bit more. The way I see it, if NIO trades above $61, we could probably go long, put our stops at low, pre-market low, which would be a very small risk, and maybe we could see a reversal on NIO. Or if NIO sells off, we can probably look to get some puts on NIO. Another name, BLDP. BLDP. This one's on my A-list, guys. It got a $40 price target upgrade yesterday, and today issued out some news. I did share that news in the stock alerts channel and upgrades and downgrades channel, so please take a look at that. Nonetheless, it's another stock that is just rallying on this frenzy of clean energy. This stock is related to fuel cell and hydrogen. Right now, it had a nice bull flag at holding at 31, but it just broke above that. So we're going to have to wait for another setup here. But if it continues to break above 31.57 at the open, we can put our stops at $31. That's a 50-cent risk on that trade and potentially rip it to the upside. This is gapping up into all-time highs, and it's just another name that is on that frenzy. Another name that I really like is Plug. Plug this morning got a $60 price target upgrade and just more positive news on Plug. Look at that. I had it marked up in pre-market at around 55.50 before it just screamed. It just ripped, right? Bull flagged right here at around the 61, 62 range and just broke out again. Now setting up another small little bull flag. So Plug is rolling really hot. We got to be careful with this one. It's already done the move that we wanted it to do at the open. So with that being said, I would prefer a pullback, maybe a reversal. We can go long it. But at this point, I would venture to think that maybe there's going to be more profit taking on this than more upside. I could be wrong, but mark up your charts and mark up the support and resistance zones because that's what's going to help guide us, as we trade this stock. Another name I'm going to have on my A-list is Tesla. Tesla showed some weakness yesterday with some selling pressure. Today it's gapping up a little bit. Right now I've got it marked up. If it rips above 836, you can go long Tesla. Probably put your stops at 832 or 831. If it breaks below 827, my first target on Tesla is going to be around the 821 area. And if it breaks 821, we might just even gap fill the stock. So Tesla is going to be another one on my A-list today. And another one that's going to be on my A-list, guys, is actually going to be the S&P 500. The S&P 500 and the overall market is slowing down up here. There's a lot of analysts just talking about the limited upside that we have now with the market. And a lot of analysts on CNBC and just what I'm reading online are calling for the market to pull back. They're really, there's a lot of, the tone is just repeating about profit taking, pulling back, the market's running too hot. So if the market shows weakness and if it sells off, I'm going to short the S&P 500. And shorting the S&P 500 is really easy money. Like, sometimes a little too easy. So I'm going to pay close attention to the S&P. I know my bias right now is on shorting it. But hey, if it wants to turn around and go long, if the S&P 500 can reclaim 379.27, we can go long and possibly, but we'd have to look to break 379.50 and then pre-market highs of about 380. So that's what I'm looking at. But if it sells off, first target 378.20, 377.82, second target, third target 377.26. If it breaks below those three levels, boy oh boy, we've got some downside that we're going to hit. So S&P 500, Tesla, Plug, BLDP, NEO. One other name is BLNK. I like BLNK because it is just gapping up, selling off, lots of volatility in pre-market. That's what we like. So at the moment, it did give away a lot of its gains. It's already pulled back 3 points from the pre-market high. So if BLNK can hold like the 53 level, then we could potentially look for some basing action and maybe push higher. If BLNK breaks below 52.70 range, I think there's going to be a sell-off and we can possibly look for like 53 puts. So at the moment, it's a very tight range, but I do like it as a potential opportunity for us to get in on making fast money here. So that's my A list, guys. My B list, I'm going to keep an eye on AMD, LMND. I'm going to keep an eye on Apple. I'm going to keep an eye on Mara, M-A-R-A. I'm going to keep an eye on FUTU and Walmart and Baidu and NVIDIA. I know I just went through a lot of names there. I can't go over all of them in detail because then I would not give Taj the time that he needs to go over his A list. But I just shared with you my B list. So what I do with my B list, guys, is throughout the day, if I don't see any setups with my A list, I swap over to my B list to see if there's any other opportunities that exist that we could take advantage of. I see some of you are bringing up some other names like Fubo. So I haven't taken a look at Fubo yet. Let's look at Fubo. Oh yeah, look at Fubo. All right, Fubo's in play. So Fubo could be another one. Right now it's bull flagging. So if it breaks above 31, you can go long Fubo, but you might have to put your stops at $30. So that's a $1 risk. So let's see if it can hold that bull flag before the market opens, okay? So Fubo, I've just added that to my B list now. So thank you for bringing that up. So, Taj, let me pass it on to you, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm just going to add a couple of more names to the list, probably around 2 or 3. One of which is going to be JPM. They had a price target upgrade from Citigroup to 150 from 130. What I really like about JP Morgan is if you look on the daily, it's breaking out of some flagging action that we had here. There's some resistance at 138.19. We're clearly gapping above that. We're gapping into, I think, near all-time highs. I think the all-time high was 144, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. So we're right there, close to that level. And the only thing is the volume is a little light during the pre-market session. However, nonetheless, it is gapping up. It's in, right near its yearly high. So I fully expect some momentum along with the analyst price target upgrade. Yep. So the way that we could play this right out of the gates is if it breaks out above 139.85, we can throw stops right at around 139.40 and see if we can catch a pop. It's about a 40-cent risk. So you should be able to catch a one-to-one if it's going to hold truly, because that's 40 cents per JPM is not a huge move, to say the least.
Right.
Another name I'll be watching is Baba. So if you remember, we were kind of keeping an eye on Baba all day yesterday, and this thing just went sideways until around 3 o'clock, 3:30. It finally chose its direction, right? Yeah. Finally broke down, hit that low, and it sold off about 3 points, right? So that was a pretty significant move. for Baba. So pretty much what I'm looking at is if you look at on the daily, Baba's being rejected off of its AMA multiple times. So I will see if Baba can have some continuation to the downside. That's kind of my bias coming in. However, hey, if the stock's able to rally, maybe even clip yesterday's high, then obviously that bias will change, right? So Baba's more of a B-list stock for me. However, it could convert to an A-list if the setup is really there, right? If it starts to really break down below, let's say yesterday's low, that 225.86, Baba will really start catching my attention. And don't sleep on Baba. Baba's like a sleeping giant that can, as soon as it starts moving, you could really get paid on it. Another name that I really like is Tilray, pot stocks. So the thing I like about Tilray is it tested that most recent high at 1272. It literally touched 1272 and had a bit of a pullback from yesterday. And if you remember from 2 days ago, so that would be Friday, Tilray also hit 1272 and actually sold off. So 1272 is clearly a resistance on the daily chart. During the pre-market session, we hit 1289 and look what happened. Selling off again. Tilray, I want to be a little patient on it. I wouldn't feel comfortable going short quite yet or long. I would want it to prove itself first. But here's the thing. If Tilray can break out of that 1272, 1289 level, I think this thing is in for a run. But it needs to break and hold that level. I know we've made really good money on Tilray in the past. So if this thing really starts to keep getting some momentum, definitely get your hands on Tilray. Very cheap stock to play, especially with options contracts. So it's something everyone can get their hands on. And the nice thing about Tilray is when it runs, it runs. So you can be rewarded nicely on Tilray. So although it may take a little bit to set up, it may take some time to set up, it's definitely going to be on my A list just based off the fact of the potential reward that you can have with a name like this. Another name I want to keep an eye on is FCEL. FCEL is gapping up into, I know this is at least most recent highs. I'm not sure if it's all-time highs. Let me double check. This is definitely not all-time highs, but it's most recent highs. Let's say over the past year or two. You have a very nice bull flag forming here. We can play it long right here around 1717. See if we can test that pre-market high at 1730. Currently, it looks like we have to play stops around 1680. So you're looking at around 35 cent risk, which is solid because this is energy stock. So as Alex said, this is going to be on the board today. EVs and energy stocks, so all that good stuff is going to be in play today. Those are the stocks that are moving, right? So this falls right in line with that. So let's keep an eye on this. Again, another cheap name. Everyone can play it. And let's see if we can pick up some momentum. Another name I kind of want to keep an eye on is, I know Alex mentioned this is on his B list. It's kind of on my B list as well. Is Baidu. Baidu had an insane day yesterday. Gapped up, and we were talking about it during pre-market action. The sell-off that had happened. It initially gapped up to 256 from the prior day's close, and started selling off during the pre-market. And I remember mentioning that big of a sell-off, it sold off 10 points from that all-time high. It didn't feel good, right? You don't feel super comfortable going long in that type of position. And it ended up just being a terrible day for Baidu. So although it is gapping up, I don't know if I necessarily trust the gap because this is a full-on reversal bar on the daily chart. So here's what I would prefer. I would prefer for this to break below 224 and look for a short. However, if it is able to break above 228, you could play it for a long. So I do have a little bit of bias. I would prefer the 224. However, you go on with the bias, but you trade the charts, right?
Right.
You don't, stay married to your ideas here. So like I said, I think if Baidu can break that 224, there's a good chance that it could come down and test that low yesterday around 219 or actually 218.40. But obviously we first have to break 224, play our shorts, those stops around 226, 227, and see if we can continue that momentum to the downside. Other than that, I think there was one more. Actually, that might be it because you went over a lot of the other names that I have on here. So I don't want to, sound like a broken record here.
No, it's no good, brother. Yeah, there's a lot of good opportunities, a lot of names, and to all of our traders here, I would just recommend, guys, from the names that we've selected, that we've got in our pre-market watch list, mark up your charts. Remember, put your support and resistance zones, and don't get overwhelmed by trying to follow 10 different stocks. Pick your favorite 2, pick your favorite 4, whatever that number is, and hone in on the price action, hone in on the chart formations, hone in on whether it breaks and triggers, the long or the short ideas that we've got in mind. And, this is the second day of the week. A lot of us had really good days yesterday, and I'm pretty sure that today we're going to have a killer day. But whatever your daily goal is, guys, focus on hitting that daily goal first. Focus on that base hit. And once you've got that base hit covered and taken care of, then you can start getting maybe a little bit more aggressive. You can start going in for that double, that triple, maybe even that home run trade. Let's be disciplined with our trading. Let's remember that risk management is the key to survival. Seriously, you don't want to be risking more than what you can manage on a day-to-day basis. Just for easy numbers, we always want and always encourage you guys to have a 2-to-1 ratio on your day. So at a minimum. So if just for easy sake, if you're trying to make $100 a day, don't risk more than $50. If you're trying to make $1,000 a day, don't risk more than $500. Or if your number, and then just obviously do the math. If your number is bigger, if you're trying to make $3,000, all right, don't risk more than $1,500. Whatever that number is, be disciplined, manage that risk, and keep your stops tight. I think yesterday, and even just this so far, at the beginning of 2021, there's a theme that I think hopefully you guys are following here with Taj and I. Whenever the trade goes in your favor, if you're green, if your P&L's green, don't let that P&L go red. Put your stops tighter or put it at break even right away. Because if the trade goes against you, okay, no problem. Like yesterday, I tried going long Baidu. The moment Baidu went in my favor, what did I do? Stops at break even. And the stock ended up stopping me out for 0 loss. And I was cool with it. Because guess what? I didn't lose money. So it just keeps you in the game. It keeps your mindset focused. And when the next opportunity presents itself, you're ready to pull that trigger. I just want to make sure that we don't lose money. And there's no guarantee that we're not going to lose money because this is the stock market. You're going to lose money. But let's just manage those losses, right? So Taj, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is there's a long history of one of the most dangerous days for a trader is the day following a big green day. A lot of us, especially I would say considering last week and then, obviously the way we started off this week. Yesterday was amazing. I know for a lot of people. So like Alex said, keep that risk management tight. Even though you may have had an excellent day, don't go saying, hey, I risked $100 last week. I'm going to risk $300, $400 this week or, today because of I had such a good day the other day. It slowly increase your risk if you need to, right? You start to have a good day, but don't get into a position where if you're not comfortable risking, if you're not comfortable risking, let's say $200 on a trade and you were just risking $100 last week, then, that's going to change your psychology going into the trade, right? You're going to feel more nervous. You're going to feel more inclined to sell when you see yourself down 150 where you weren't supposed to sell, right? Because you're not used to seeing your account down that much. So that's the other side, right? Always look at the trade on the other side, the potential loss, and take that number into consideration. And if you're fine with losing that number, then hey, risk it, And, that's the way that you should continue to trade. But yeah, I just wanted to add in one of the most dangerous days for a trader, and I know this from experience, is having a big green day or having a winning streak,
Yes.
and coming in and just over trading or taking too much size or getting a little too confident, right? Let's keep the system the same. Let's get some base hits on the board, right? And then maybe even go for a bigger swing if the setup's there.
Yes, exactly. So guys, Taj and I, we share this not to sound like broken records, but we wanna help everyone here, right? We want to help everyone make this be consistent and let's stay alive in this game. So, with that being said, I'm gonna end the recording here on for our YouTube channel. So for everyone for tuning in on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. Come check us out. We have a free community. You can join our day trading and live and swing trading room for free for 3 days. And if you love what you see, you can subscribe and trade with us every single day. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.